Hi, ladies. Welcome to Let's Talk, Ladies. My name is Tamara V. Lawrence, and I'm the founder of Marriage Ministry Motherhood. I have been married for the last 11 years. I have been in full time ministry for almost 9 years, and I'm the mom for the last 5 years to a 15-year-old girl with learning disabilities. So I'm a full time mom. I stay home and I teach her because I know what she needs and I want her to be her best. And I feel like I know actually that I need to be here to do that for her. Today we're going to talk about can I be a feminist? Well, sorry. No, that's not what it is. Basically, now, can I be strong and courageous without being a feminist? And you'll see where I'm coming from with it just as I talk for this little bit with you, yeah? So basically, 12 years ago, I was writing a book called Sister, You're Doing It Wrong. I know the name's a bit blunt, but it's because of how I felt at the time. There were these friends, there were these girls as well that I was counseling. Yes, me. That I just felt like I wanted to grab some of these girls and shake them and go, sister, come on, you're doing it wrong. Yeah. And it's because I just felt like it was so plain. It was so plain. But of course, things are always plain when you're standing on the fence and you're the one looking in. It's always plain to you. Yeah. So I'd be there for these girls and I wanted to grab them and just say, sister, you're doing it wrong. So I actually was naming the book like that. So I was touching on areas that I felt like as young women that we were not doing very well. Yeah, we were not handling regarding how we were with the opposite sex. And I saw so many of my friends making mistakes and, how they were crying and how they felt. Yeah. And I felt like, oh, if I write this, because if these girls are feeling this way, they must be like so many others who were feeling the same. So I decided that I was going to write this and it would reach as many women as possible. But in the middle of doing my research and collecting data and stuff like that, I met this guy. And um we were speaking about a month after meeting each other. We finally had a chance to speak. I'd forgotten about him. I think he probably had forgotten about me after meeting me as well. And we were talking on Facebook Messenger one night, and he said, "Oh, so what have you been up to?" And I told him, and he's like, "Oh," and he had questions, and gave him all the answers, and he asked all these stuff. And then the guy, cheeky as he was, said, "Oh, you're a feminist. A feminist who knows nothing about love." Was I offended? I was so offended that this guy called me a feminist, one who knows nothing about love. So, of course, I told him off. Absolutely. I told him off because I knew what I was talking about. I knew what I was seeing. And I knew that what I was seeing, the woman had a lot to do with it. There's a huge part that my girls were playing in them being hurt. And I wanted to do something about that. But I guess he understood it from some point of view of feminism. Yeah. But that was not basically where I was going. So I carried on talking to this guy though. Can you believe it? End up falling in love with him and about 18 months later marrying this dude. Yeah. So, but in marrying him, I then fell into so many of the traps that I was trying to help women out of. And I end up losing myself in all of that, in trying to navigate marriage, not because of him. It was not because of who he was and him calling me a feminist. No, that was years before. That was a year and something before. And it's not like he treated me as somebody he needed. It was not like that. I just lost me for some reason. Yeah. And I don't know, maybe it was you dwell on things so much you become it or whatever it is, but a lot of some of the things that I was talking to these girls about I ended up doing within my marriage, which was crazy. So I lost myself. I lost my voice. I lost my confidentiality, my confidence. Yeah. And I don't know. I did not like who I was. I did not like the voice that I was hearing myself speak with. So, yes, I became a teacher and principal and all those stuff, and I had a voice that others would listen to. But when it came to my marriage, when it came to my relationship, I did not like the voice that I had and the voice I was using or my tone. I did not like any of those things. And took me years to find out why I was doing that. And then I had to step back and I had to fix that totally. He couldn't fix it. I had to fix it. Yeah. So I had to fix that to become a woman of strength and courage, the woman that I've always dreamt of being. Yeah. But as I thought of all of that regarding myself, I could not help but think of Abigail. You know, Abigail was married to a man who the NIV version describes as wicked. Abigail was married to a man who was foolish, who was silly, who was downright stupid. Yeah. And but what I realized is that though Abigail knew this is who her husband was, the servants knew he was like that. Abigail did not allow that to define her. Maybe at the beginning, we don't know. But all I know is that when we were introduced to Abigail, we were introduced to a woman who was not defined by the foolishness of her husband. Yeah. And as I said, I'm not saying it's my husband's foolishness that caused me to be that way. Yeah. But I'm just saying is that I did that for whatever reason. And Abigail was nothing like that. Abigail, who we met, was a woman who was strong and courageous. And I also liked about Abigail, when we were introduced to her, the one of the servants came and said, you know, Abigail, your this and this and this happened, and your husband, we all know he's wicked, and he like hurled lots of insults, and the men went off and blah blah. And Abigail did not go, oh, again, oh, he's like that, oh, I can't believe him, oh my. She did not sit down, according to what I've read anyway, and trash her husband with this servant. She listened to him and she jumped in and she fixed the problem. Yeah. And she saved her household. That's what Abigail did. And I really, really appreciate that. And also, if you want to know more about the 3 pillars of being a woman of strength and courage, you can go to my website at missionaryforlife.org and you can get that for free. Absolutely for free. The 3 pillars of a woman of strength and courage. And you can read that and try to see which one you still need to apply to your life to become that woman of strength and courage. But if you need something that's more ongoing, that's where Ladies Life magazine comes in, because this is going to be a monthly subscription. And of course, I remind you, a life means living intentionally for eternity. And ladies, sis, if that's not why we're living, then we really need to go sit in a corner, because there's a lot we need to think about. We need to be living intentionally for eternity. That's the purpose of Ladies Life magazine. And within that magazine, there'll be something. I'm not saying there'll be everything for everyone. Not every single article would be yours, but there'll be at least one that should resonate. Yeah, and the others should be things that, oh, I need to brush up on this. Oh, this is amazing. Oh, this woman went through quite a lot and now look at her now. You know, that kind of thing. And I do pray that you don't miss out on getting your copy over at www.missionaryforlife.org to go over and to start paying for your subscription. I won't take up any more of your time. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening to me and for actually thinking, okay, do I still have my voice? Or when I enter marriage, what voice do I want to speak with? How do I want to be heard? In spite of my husband, who do I want to be? Yes. And I thank you so much for listening. If you're on YouTube, I pray you like and subscribe. If it's on Instagram, I ask that you follow, share, do all that stuff so we can grow together. Thank you so much for being here. God bless.